So thank you for being at our fifth annual Standing Our Ground. This year, we're calling it the transformation of the economy will not be linear.
Citizens Climate Lobby Canada acknowledges that the work we support stretches across the homelands of many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people on Turtle Island. We are all formed from the earth, and the land connects us to creation. We recognize that colonization has brought deep and lasting harm to Indigenous peoples and to the earth itself. As treaty people, honoring commitments recognized in the Royal Proclamation of 1763 and gathered today from territories across Turtle Island, we commit to continued learning, to supporting Indigenous-led healing and reclamation, reconciliation, and to turning that learning into meaningful action.
So our learning objectives for this evening are to understand our niche in the Canadian climate movement, to frame the road ahead in the context of reality, and to lean into our core values to make 2026 a stellar year. And our niche in 2026 is that we train and support volunteers organized by ridings to lobby their own parliamentarians and build political will locally for the Climate Aligned Finance Act and strengthening the industrial carbon price. And now Kathy will talk about our proven theory of change.
Thank you for that. Okay, our proven theory of change is proven because we did get what we lobbied for in 2018, and we did get to improve it over the years. So yeah, and as Keith so wonderfully wrote in CCL Community, sometimes the tide goes out and the tide comes in, and you can't always get things, but the tide can come back in. Okay, so our proven theory of change is by meeting at regularly scheduled times and staying focused on the actions in the action sheets, we will prevail in making change. A regular schedule becomes a habit, and by rowing together, we forge those habits into unstoppable forward momentum. And because all politics are local, by focusing that momentum on our own ridings, we will prevail by winning one riding at a time. Some of you may not know who that wonderful gentleman is to the right, but he's our founder, Marshall Saunders, and he believed in Canada. He loved us. He was definitely a dream master. This organization is a manifestation of his vision, and I want to thank you for keeping his dream alive.
Our four guideposts include tracking everything, like the actions that we track to help encourage our other volunteers. We are highly organized, which, as you can see from the photo, it allows us to manage ourselves in a way that avoids burnout and produces the best results. We also develop transformational relationships with our members of parliament and everyone within our network, and that includes collaborating with other organizations to support federal and local initiatives.
And our action reports. So this is just a very high level overview. We'll look at this in a little more detail later, but generally we're up in most categories compared to last year. The comparing 2024 to 2025 just does show just that the context was different from the for the 2 years. So some categories were higher in 2024, some were higher in 2025. But it's also worth looking at and celebrating that our metrics are way up compared to 2023. So we've had a very good couple of years. And now we're going to think just a little bit about our core values. So to remind everybody, these are our core values. The first one is being nonpartisan. So we're open to having serious and meaningful conversations with anybody any elected official who wants to talk to us and wants to talk about solutions to climate change. We are optimistic. We believe that people are good and that democracy works. We believe in relationship building. We approach each other with appreciation, gratitude, and respect, and we listen, we find common ground, and we work to build consensus. We believe in focus. We are very focused. We know that there are no silver bullets, but we keep our focus on what we see as the single most impactful solution to climate change, and that is redirecting money away from fossil fuels. And we believe in integrity. We're open to new information. In fact, we solicit diverse opinions, including opposing ones. And we believe in personal power. We make our voices heard. This simple act transforms us from spectators to engaged citizens, and we trust our volunteers to make important decisions. And finally, we believe in diversity. We empower everyone to exercise their personal and political power, regardless of race, ethnicity, nationality, gender identity, sexual orientation, age, religion, ability, or affiliation. And maybe if we want to take just 10 seconds or so to reflect for a moment, if you want to think about if one of these values really speaks strongly to you.
Optimism for me.
Mm.
I like them all, but the one that keeps rattling around in my head these days is focus.
For me, it's nonpartisan because we have such a divided world right now that being nonpartisan and inviting everyone in is really critical to me.
Hey
Yeah,
everyone, sorry, maybe I'll go ahead. It's James in Montreal, and apologies for joining late. We had a chapter meeting, I guess, last weekend, and we were talking, and several people in the group were going out of their way to talk about how much they really appreciated CCL's focus, and how we're one of the few groups that has a focus on a couple of policies that really work. So maybe I'll just play that, share that on behalf of my chapter, that's speaking to a lot of people here.
sure. And my vote would be for being nonpartisan. I think that's really important.
Like the
Okay,
sheriff said, all of
wonderful.
them.
Yeah, Cheryl said all of them. That's a great answer. So with that in mind, now that we've had a bit of a chance to reflect on our core values, Mark is going to talk a little bit about group leader responsibilities, national office responsibilities, that sort of thing.
That's right. So, as a group leader in CCL, who is being guided by our monthly action sheets and our core values with the focus on the Climate Aligned Finances Act and industrial carbon pricing, ideally the goals will be to develop a transformational relationship with your federal member of parliament, build political will within your riding and city, and record your actions in the action tracker with your local group. We, ideally would ask about 100 hours a year, which comes out to, but of course, whatever time you're able to dedicate is appreciated, as always for that. And on the right there, you can kind of see our monthly rhythms, where we will release the action sheets for group leaders. And then we have our catch-up calls where we go over the actions, which I'm sure you're all aware of there as well. And then for the next slide, we have our national office responsibilities. So this is everything that we do here, on the national team. Number one, of course, is supporting all of our amazing CCL leaders in their goal of building political wills within their riding. But as you can see, there's a lot of other stuff we do. I won't go through all of them, but I might touch on the ones with smiley faces, which is where we always love receiving help from our volunteers as well. So we have the monthly action sheets, we have the monthly catch-up calls, monthly education calls, as well as weekly Write to Ignite calls where we write letters to the editor. We have the CCL Leaders Launchpad, as well as providing content on the CCL community, directing and promoting open letters, directing and promoting conferences, recruiting new group leaders, joining the Senate Action Team, and fundraising as well. And speaking of fundraising, on the next slide here, we have a list of some of the amazing people who raised funds for our Ministry of the Future event and during that event. So thank you everybody who contributed. It's greatly appreciated.
So our two top goals for 2026 are to increase both the number of lobbying meetings and our mainstream media hits. And to achieve this, we need to grow our active membership while ensuring we don't overwhelm new volunteers. And for those of you who have not gone through our training, we also have what are called the 5 levers of political will. And every single month in the action sheets, we give you an activity to do that is in alignment with 1 or 2 of these levers of political will. So we're constantly pulling on these levers to help increase political will in our own ridings.